Alrighty, YouTube, how are things? It has been a while since I've made a video. I feel like I say that every single time I make a video. Um, every time you see me, my beard is getting longer, hopefully more luscious and thick. This video, I want to talk about something that has been a topic of discussion amongst many of the people that I talk with online, and that's breaking the mold. And I think when you first stop drinking, you may definitely have the desire to want to stop drinking, but the reason why it's easy to slip back is because if you're trying to do it so much by yourself and not really let everyone into what you're going through and communicating about this new you, then it's easy to kind of just keep slipping up and no one is the wiser. So you still have this former version of yourself that is basically being protected, and we don't want to protect that former version of yourself. You want to destroy that former version of yourself, and you have to break the mold. And to extrapolate on that, I mean, you have to drop the fear of the judgment of strangers and your peers and your friends and your family. Typically, what I find is that people are more willing to be completely open with their friends and their family and those closest to them, except for maybe in some cases like the significant other, if you have been drinking behind their back kind of a thing. We can get more to that in a second. But a lot of the time it's that we want to protect this identity, or at least this idea that we're portraying to other people, and we feel like if we let them know that we're an alcoholic, that almost feels that like at any moment we're just going to fly off the handles and be getting drunk all the time and ruin everything. And it's crazy that that is the stigma that we feel, because what is it to admit that you're an alcoholic except that you are working on yourself? You are doing the work and being brave and courageous enough to dig your hands into the dirty dishwater that is your life and pull out all the shit that is clogging it. And part of that is admitting to yourself and others that you're an alcoholic. But it's, for whatever reason, it feels like shameful and kind of weak and embarrassing, and in time it won't feel like that. It'll feel much more of something that you're proud that you have done. And to touch back on the drinking behind the back thing, so when in that last year, I had mapped out a handful of days. Sorry about all these cars and trucks, you guys. I'd mapped out a handful of days that I was like able to drink with my girlfriend. We made this list, like my birthday, St. Patrick's Day, and Christmas, Thanksgiving, all this stuff. Which, I mean, right there is a huge red flag. Normal people don't do that. You can take it or leave it. And which is not to say that we're not normal, but our relationship with alcohol is not normal. So I mapped out all these days, but I was still drinking the entire time. And I was hiding it from her. And doing something on that level of manipulation is just soul eroding. It just eats away at you, because you know that you are just betraying the trust and the love of all these people that care about you. And you have to lie constantly. And because you have to constantly lie, unless you're just totally fine with being a liar, which most people aren't, you have to justify these lies relentlessly. And to justify those lies, you have to lie to yourself. And at the end of the day, if all you're doing is lying to everyone else and lying to yourself, what and who even are you? And and that's something that I came about when I remember being like, I'm lying not only to my girlfriend, but my friends and my family and even strangers, and I'm lying to myself. And I was like, I don't even know who or what the fuck I am, But so when you do decide to, pick up that mantle of being an alcoholic, I think it is very important to let your significant other know that you have been doing that. It's not enough to just say, hey, I'm an alcoholic and moving forward this, because you don't want your new relationship, because it is a new relationship, you want it to be built on honesty. You don't want it to be built on the corpses of any of these manipulations inside of your mind. You want to clear everything out. And it was hurtful when I did it to my girlfriend, but she was also happy that I had done it, because now she knew more. It allows them a little bit more insight into what you're going through, and they can realize that it's not just about you hurting them, it's you hurting in general, and that you're going through this awful thing, and the betrayal of their trust is a byproduct of your alcoholism. And in a certain way, it's not intentional. It's not that you're saying, I want to deliberately hurt this person, but it's more that to accomplish my goals, my addiction goals, I need to hurt this person. And because I'm addicted, unfortunately, I'm willing to do that. So by coming clean with all of the things that you've been doing, it's kind of a window into the torment that you've been going through, and it also allows them to be more on board with what's going through. If you don't fully flesh out what's killing you inside, then how are they supposed to properly help you? Because most people do have a support network of people in their lives, but they need to activate it. You need to activate it by communicating and let everyone in. And I understand that as alcoholics, it's hard to want to be that open because we're so used to internalization and keeping things bottled up and not being anyone else's burden. And that can go all the way to death, where you think that life would just be better without you and people would be happier without you. But that's never the case. Those funerals are always filled with people saying, why didn't he reach out? I wish I had known. If only he had said something to me. And that is always the case. Your friends and family and loved ones, and no one wants to see you go, so that's just a fool's delusion that we allow ourselves to believe, because the idea of coming clean with all of this can feel horrifying. But in the long run, it's the best thing you'll ever do. So you have to be willing to really shatter your former identity. And that means when you are given scenarios where someone offers you a drink, or say we should go grab a drink, you let them know I don't drink, and it's because I'm an alcoholic. It's not that you have to go into vivid detail about every little thing in your past, but you need to get used to setting your boundaries. And, the people that you stop hanging out with as much because you have broken that former mold, you realize you don't really like me, you like to drink with me. And when you remove the alcohol, if we don't really have a friendship, then we don't really have a friendship. And that's okay. It's fine to let those people go, because you will meet new people in your life that give a fuck about you, and they don't care about the fact that you drink or don't drink. Everyone else that I have in my life now, and it's not like I live in some unique place. I live, in the United States of America. I live in California. I love it here. And I do live in Sonoma County, which is really cool. But what I'm saying is that people are people everywhere. So you'll get people that want to drink with you, and they only want to be your friend if they're drinking with you. And you're going to get people that don't give a fuck if you drink or not. And those are the people that you want in your life. And ideally, when you delve into a hobby or an interest or something, you'll start meeting like-minded people that really couldn't care less about your drinking or not. So this is just a common thing that I see through people that say, God, I slipped up again. My first question is, have you told everyone? Have you really broken the mold? Have you voluntarily burned your bridges to go backwards? And 10 times out of 10, it's no. There's a fear of doing that, of judgment, and of not being able to go backwards, because it is much harder when you tell everyone in your life that you're an alcoholic and then they see you drinking again. And you know why it's harder? Because they all want to help now. Now you're the focus of their attention. And it's a admittance to a new life, and some people are afraid to do that, and they might not be ready for that. But if you really want to get sober and you really want to change your life, you need to do things differently. And you just got to think of this version of yourself that is hiding everything and internalizing everything and that is afraid of everything needs to be shattered. And the way that you shatter that is by shining light on everything. You need the darkness and the abyss to fester within this alcoholism. You need to shine light on all of those things, and it eradicates the guilt. You got to be okay with being a little vulnerable, because right now you are vulnerable. And what's the alternative? Doing this forever. And that's not an option. You can't do that forever. So break the mold, people. Be willing to break the mold and realize that the people in your life are there for a reason. It's because they love and they care about you. And the people that aren't, you have to be willing to just cut out of your life, because those are friend spots that will be filled with better people. Anyway, thank you for letting me ramble on and listening to my rant. As always, like, share, subscribe. Let anyone see this video that you think might help them. I know it's I always go long stints without posting videos, and I say it in every video. I never just want to post content just to post content. And whenever an idea pops in my head that I think I should flesh out, then I'll film it and I'll share it with you guys. And as always, stay sober.